Well, my name is Daniel Brickley, and I'm a first-year PhD student in plant biology at Michigan State. And I'm coming from the University of Pennsylvania, where I graduated with a degree in biology and environmental studies in 2010. I spent 2 years working for the Bureau of Land Management and also for a research project studying the effects of climate change in Mongolia before coming to Michigan State this year. So, I am broadly studying restoration ecology, or how we repair degraded landscapes. And more specifically, I'm interested in the consequences of habitat fragmentation for restoration ecology. So, for example, when we as a society build a new shopping center or a road or a new subdivision, we may end up fragmenting certain natural habitats. So instead of one continuous forest, we may have 3 separate forest fragments or something. And if we're interested in restoring these forest fragments to a certain desirable state, we need to know how that fragmentation, or how being physically separated, affects the plant populations in those fragments. So, for example, if a plant population is completely isolated, it'll become very inbred if it just reproduces with its genetic relatives, and it won't live very long. But if a plant population is able to exchange genetic material with a larger group of plants, and its seeds and propagules are able to move from area to area better, then that population will have a better chance at survival. So as an undergraduate at Penn, I got involved with environmental and ecological field research, and I really enjoyed it and thought that it might be a career path for me. But when I graduated, I still wasn't 100% sure, so I took a job with the Bureau of Land Management in Alaska, where I was collecting seeds for revegetation work throughout the state. Alaska doesn't have a lot of native seeds for various revegetation programs that they do, and so we were trying to collect these native seeds that would allow us to restore these sites more faithfully to what should be there, I guess. And that was my first real exposure to restoration ecology, and I thought that was quite interesting. And then I returned to Penn to work as the project coordinator for the Pyre Mongolia project, which studies the effects of climate change in Mongolia. And that's where I really spent, 40 hours a week focusing on research and how to get research done in a foreign country and how to get it published. And how to support grad students and faculty doing that research. And that's when I realized that while the subject of restoration ecology was what truly interested me, the career of research was a good way to pursue that interest of restoration ecology. So I looked at quite a few different schools and contacted quite a few different potential advisors. And my advisor at MSU, Lars Brudvig, studies restoration ecology and has some papers that are in the direction of research that I'm interested in. And he was interested in taking on another student this year. So we talked, and I applied. And MSU, we got along really well. I thought it was a great fit to join his lab. And also MSU offered me quite a bit of support, both in terms of financial support for completing my PhD, and also just the resources that a really large university can offer. So a wide variety of potential committee members and great facilities for doing research on campus. So that was really great. I really hope that I can develop an effective outreach plan to share my research with practitioners on the ground who are actually managing public or private land and restoration companies and officials who are actually doing restorations, so that I can learn from them about what they need to know, and also share my research with them so that hopefully they will improve their restoration practices. And also I hope to contribute to the ecological theory that's being built around population dynamics and how we understand growth and decline of populations in a more ecological sense. I'd like to continue to conduct research in the field of restoration ecology, and I can envision myself doing that as a government scientist or also as a professor at a university. But either way, I do want to stay actively involved with the real life applications of this research and really have strong connections to the practice of restoration ecology, not just the theory. So the fellowship has been very helpful. It's given me a lot of time and freedom to pursue thinking about what sort of question I want to do in my research, which is invaluable at this stage. I really need to continue to narrow down what I'm interested in and find a specific question. And if I didn't have the fellowship, I'd have a lot less time to think about that very important question. And also, it gives me time to do more outreach and university service. So I joined the College of Natural Sciences Council on Community and Diversity. So we're hoping to better recruit and retain diverse groups here at MSU in the natural sciences, and I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have the fellowship. So.